Good evening, Elon. Thanks for tuning in to ELN Radio on WSOE 89.3 Elon, Burlington. I'm Avik Bhargave.
And I'm Jackson Dunn. Here's what's happening across campus and across the country this Wednesday, October 7th.
While the skies may have cleared across the Carolinas, the trouble is not over for many residents. Authorities in South Carolina said that they have managed to stabilize the Beaver Creek Dam in the capital city of Columbia, and evacuations are no longer mandatory for citizens. But Nikki Haley said in a press conference that the problems are far from over. At least 600 people and animals have been rescued, with more than 300 people staying in local shelters. In addition, at least 13 dams have failed and 62 are under close watch.
Tonight, if you look up between the hours of 7 and 9, you could see a rocket launch. NASA is scheduled to launch the Black Brant 9 suborbital rocket, also known as a sounding rocket. The launch is expected to make a colorful display. NASA is using the rocket to take measurements and test some new technology.
Finally, the Justice Department is preparing to release 6,000 inmates from prison as an effort to lower the penalty for lower-level drug offenses. While this news was initially praised, it has received some criticism from law enforcement officials, fearing released prisoners will be unable to find jobs and will resort back to crimes. That's what's making headlines across the nation.
Now, let's take a look at what's happening across the Tar Heel State. Authorities say that there is now 17 dead in the North and South Carolina flooding. Governor Pat McCrory visited farms on the eastern shore and talked to residents affected by the rain. He urged people to still be cautious in floodwaters even though the rain has stopped. In Raleigh, a man was struck and killed by an Amtrak train last night. When people arrived, they found the body of a 51-year-old man. The tracks were next to NC State's campus. And in Fayetteville, a mother was arrested after police found her trying to smother her 5-month-old son with a pillow. She has been charged with attempted first-degree murder and misdemeanor child abuse. The woman is being held on a $100 secured bond.
Here's what's going on this week at Elon. This weekend marks fall break on campus, so no events outside of athletics will be taking place. If you're staying here, there are plenty of events going on in the Burlington area and Alamance County. Tomorrow night, the Haw River Ballroom will be presenting Beach House. Doors open at 7 p.m. with the show starting at 8. They'll be performing Bloom, their 4th full-length album, and tickets are anywhere from $26 to $29. On Saturday the 10th in downtown Mebane, Autumn Fest will be taking place from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., rain or shine, and admission is free. But if you can't make it all the way to Mebane, have no fear, because Gibsonville will also be having Fall Festival from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Also on Saturday, from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., will be the first ever Alamance Pride Festival in the Burlington Historic Department. One good scare? In Snow Camp, North Carolina, this weekend, the Hollywood Horror Show will be open. It will open from 8 p.m. until midnight, Friday through Sunday, and tickets are $20, and it will be open rain or shine.
World-famous violinist Itzhak Perlman was on campus earlier today for fall convocation in an alumni gym. Perlman, who is known around the world for his classical music talent on the violin, had advice for Elon students on how to find their true passion.
Look at the YouTube. Look at some of the people, I hear that pianist is great. Oh, I wonder, let's put the thing on the YouTube and see how that pianist plays or the violinist plays. Be curious. So important to be curious, because you will just find something that you're passionate about.
Perlman also went on to share some advice on how students can use today's age of information to their advantage.
Well, I would tell them to do what feels right to them, what they feel they're good at. And I always say that don't just make one goal for yourself, and if that goal doesn't work, then give up.
The dust from the second GOP debate is beginning to clear. There are now 6 frontrunners in the Republican Party. Trump is still leading the pack despite losing points for the first time in his campaign. Trump, who's averaging around 22.8% in the polls, has a comfortable 5-point lead on the second-place candidate, Ben Carson. Carson's numbers are rising again after they dropped following controversial comments. After two strong debate performances, Carly Fiorina is on the rise and is currently in 3rd place. Fiorina's numbers have been greatly exaggerated by many media outlets and is currently polling around 11%. Former poll leader Jeb Bush lost his 4th place position to Marco Rubio. The two candidates are below double digits at 8.3 and 9.5% respectively. And the always consistent Ted Cruz is at the back of the leading six, but continues to stay relevant. Next Wednesday, the Democrats will have their shot at the debate. 2 weeks still remain until the next Republican debate, and numbers are likely to fluctuate. Stick with Elon Local News, and we will bring you everything you need to know for the 2016 elections. And coming up soon, town criers embrace the news for National News Engagement Day.
We finally had a few sunny days, but will it stick around? Our Megan Jernak will take a look at your Phoenix 5-day forecast. We're back with more ELN Radio. Elon has had a recent spell of rain over the past several days, but now the sun is coming out. Megan Jernak is here in studio with what we can expect in these next few days. How long can we expect this sun to stay?
They say every storm runs out of rain, and that's definitely the case with Hurricane Joaquin. It's time to bring those shorts back out because the Phoenix 5-day forecast calls for sunshine. Today, our high was a stunning 81 degrees and sunny, and the low could be about 55 degrees with no rain clouds in sight. There's a 10% chance of rain on Thursday with a high of 79 and a low of 58. For those of you sticking around Elon this weekend, you're in for some warm days. 78 and partly cloudy on Friday with a low of 56. Saturday and Sunday cool off a bit with highs of 68 and lows of 49, but mostly sunny with nearly no chance of rain. Monday sets the tone for the rest of the week, a beautiful 72 and sunny. And that's your Phoenix 5-day forecast.
Thanks, Megan. Hopefully it stays sunny in Elon.
If you carve out 30 minutes of exercise a day, good for you. But you might want to consider adding even more, maybe even 4 times as much. For years, the American Heart Association has recommended 30 minutes of moderately intense exercise to prevent heart disease. But a new study says otherwise. An analysis published in the journal Circulation finds that 30 minutes might not be good enough. Researchers reviewed 12 studies that tracked thousands of men and women over 15 years. They found that those who follow the 30-minute guidelines had modest reductions in heart risks, while those who exercised twice and 4 times as much had a substantial reduction risk. The study could lead to further research and the potential for physicians and policymakers to issue longer recommendations for times of daily exercise in order to prevent heart disease.
With midterm week now halfway through, you and your trusty laptop might be taking a toll. Well, just in the nick of time, tech giant Microsoft announced this week the unveiling of its first laptop. The 13.5-inch device, called the Surface Book, is boasted to have the fastest laptop ever for its size. Features include a trackpad made of glass, body made of magnesium, an impressive 12 hours of battery life, and most notably, the Surface Book's touchscreen is detachable. That's right, oh snap, or snap off if you will. Microsoft hopes to compete with Lenovo laptops and Apple's MacBook Pro model rather than the iPad or its own Surface tablets. The cost for the Surface Book starts at $14.99 and goes up from there, if you want more bells and whistles. While pre-orders started today, you'll have to wait until October 26th for the general release date.
Tonight marks the final performance of Harper Regan, a play charting an English girl's journey to visit her terminally ill father. Elon's senior Rebecca Hurd says she's enjoyed taking a lead role in her final year of college.
This show has been like an acting class every night, like personalized for me.
Hurd also says the play meets a nice balance between tragedy and comedy that applies to everyday life.
There's an extreme realism to this play, and an extreme honesty, and I think that's what the playwright really wanted to get across, is that everyone deals with these awful things in life, but you have to be able to move on from that and kind of laugh it off in some ways.
Harper Regan's final performance tonight, 7:30 p.m. in Scott Studios at Arts West.
Elon celebrated News Engagement Day yesterday. Our Bryan Henderson has more.
Hear ye, hear ye. Elon celebrated National News Engagement Day Tuesday. The festivities commenced at this morning's college coffee with students serving as town criers and reading national headlines. From Donald Trump to floods to hearing loss, town criers worked hard to engage students in the news-gathering process.
Sheriff's Office seeks help in identifying truck.
Business investigates bumps in the night.
Colin Donahue, advisor of the Pendulum, Elon's student-run newspaper, recruited town criers and hopes News Engagement Day will increase awareness about the importance of staying informed.
It is your responsibility to stay informed with what's going on.
Donahue says there are many ways students can gather their news content.
You can pick up newspapers for free in the School of Communications, but it's as easy as turning on television and watching the news. It's as easy as going to Twitter and customizing your feed in such a way where you're getting the news that's very important to you. It's easy by going to Facebook. By using any of those kinds of social media, it makes it very, very simple for you to find the news content that you need and that you're interested in.
Elon Jr. Trey Rand recognizes the value news has on his life.
News is important because, well, it informs you. It's in the latest information about, well, everything, really.
Florida Senate candidate admits to sacrificing a goat.
Bryan Anderson, Elon Local News.
News Engagement Day encourages people of all ages to raise awareness about the importance of being informed. While next year's News Engagement Day is 364 days away, you can continue exploring the news at elonlocalnews.com.
Coming up, we've got a review of the hit Netflix show Sense8 from Carter Rayburn.
And our Emily Harrison brings you new songs for your playlist. Stay tuned. Welcome back. This is ELN Radio on WSOE 89.3 Elon, Burlington.
Let's pump up our playlist with this week's New Music Wednesday.
Hello, Elon. This is Emily Harrison for New Music Wednesday. 3 new albums were dropped by Selena Gomez, Panic at the Disco, and Chris Tomlin. Selena Gomez released single Me and the Rhythm from her second album on October 1st, and it is hot. The singer usually sings love songs about longing for romance, but Me and the Rhythm is straight to the point. Everybody wants to get some. This song is sure to get you on your feet. Fellow headliner Panic at the Disco recently released their third new single, Victorious. This song offers an incredibly upbeat melody, while lyrically the song is dark and mysterious. Although the band has not released the name of the next album, fans can expect the same electronic, positive style they know and love. Grammy and Billboard winner Chris Tomlin debuted his hit new single, Good Good Father, this past Friday. Known for his contemporary Christian music, this song highlights Tomlin's melodious voice and emotional lyrics. This calming tune is perfect for winding down after a long day. That's all for this week's New Music Wednesday. Tune in next week with some more new releases. Emily Harrison, Elon Local News.
Yeah, I think I'll be adding some of those songs to my fall break road trip playlist for sure. I don't know. Fall break, that just got me thinking. What are you doing? What are you doing for this break?
I actually am going home for 2 days down to Chicago, which should be interesting given all the hubbub down there with the Cubs. And then I'm heading down to Nashville to visit one of my best friends for 2 days.
Oh, that sounds really fun.
Yeah, what about you? What are you doing?
Well, you're visiting a friend, but some friends are coming with me. I'm going back down to Atlanta. I'm doing like the 6-hour drive over there, which isn't bad. It's just a little straightforward, but I'm looking forward to getting back to my hometown and getting my hair cut from Miss Christie, sitting down in that chair. Man, my hair needs some work, but it's all gonna get done. Anyway.
Moving on to the movie side of the entertainment world, spin in the circle if you're excited for the new James Bond movie. Name 3 Clintons, put yourself in Demi Lovato's shoes. These, along with several other games, will air on True TV's Billy on the Street. On the show, comedian Billy Eichner runs around the streets of New York asking strangers and celebrities to answer obscure questions and compete in unusual games for worthless prizes. After 1 year, 4 months, and 24 days of waiting, Billy on the Street will finally be back. The Season 4 premiere will air tomorrow at 10:30 p.m.
Staying on the television track, Jay Leno made a special guest appearance last night on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. He mainly focused his attention on politics by poking fun at the plethora of Republican candidates and the state of the economy.
The fear and anxiety of losing your Phoenix card is a feeling that a lot of Elon students know. Oftentimes, we see postings of lost Phoenix cards on social media saying, I found this person's ID. If anyone knows this person, please let them know I have it. Well, what if it was Tom Hanks that found your ID? Lauren from Fordham University just got that when Tom Hanks tweeted it signing off as, quote, Hanks with an X. If I lost my Phoenix card, I certainly hope Tom Hanks finds it.
Well, but if it wasn't Tom Hanks, maybe Hot Jesus from NBC's AD The Bible Continues does find it. The actor, otherwise known as Juan Pablo de Pace, has been casted in the new sitcom Fuller House. He will be playing Kimmy Gibbler's ex-husband. The show is set to premiere in 2016 with some of the original cast members as well as a new generation.
And talk about bringing something back, or rather, digging up old news. Nicki Minaj just doesn't seem to be letting go of her feud with Miley Cyrus, even after her VMAs performance. The feud started back in August when Nicki and Taylor Swift had miscommunication and Miley got involved. Now Nicki is still calling Miley out, saying, if you want to enjoy black culture, then you should also want to know what affects us. But it's not just Miley. Vanessa Grigoradis, her interviewer for the magazine Cover Culture, ended with Nicki saying, I don't dare speak to you anymore.
Today is the day that gourmet lovers of frappés everywhere can indulge on their favorite icy drink. The Greeks created this popular chilled drink in 1957 during an international fair. What is a frappé, you may ask? A frappé is an iced coffee drink, coined as Frappuccino by Starbucks. A fruity shaved ice drink, a milkshake, or a fried dough Italian pastry. Even though there are no places giving out free frappés today, you can still partake in this national holiday. If you can't make it off campus for a salted caramel mocha frappuccino, be sure to visit Java City or Irazu or Acorn for one of the ELN's finest caffeinated creations.
Carter Rayburn is here in studio to provide his thoughts on a new Netflix original series. So, Carter, what show do I need to watch?
Sense8 is a Netflix original series that tells the story of 8 strangers, each from a different culture and part of the world. While living their everyday lives, the characters start to have a vision of the violent death of a woman named Angelica, and they soon discover they're something known as Sense8s. The Sense8s are mentally and emotionally connected and are able to communicate, sense, and use each other's knowledge, language, and skills. Throughout the first season, the Sense8s simultaneously try to live their lives and figure out how and why they're connected. The Sense8s are guided by another Sense8 named Jonas, who is trying to protect him from a man named Whispers. Throughout the first season, Whispers tries to hunt all the Sense8s down and kill them. Whispers shares similar capabilities as the Sense8s, and when a Sense8 looks into his eyes, he can then experience and sense everything they do. While watching Sense8, I found myself immersed in every character's story. Although the storyline isn't always clear, the ambition and brilliance of the directors Andy and Lana Wachowski shines in this TV series. The international acting cast including veteran actors such as Naveen Andrews from Lost and Daryl Hannah from Kill Bill demonstrate how they're still some of the industry's best. Sense8 is one of the most visually stimulating TV series I've watched, and the cinematography in this series is breathtaking. I encourage those who love science fiction to watch Sense8. Netflix renewed Sense8 for a second season in August. Jackson, back to you.
Thank you, Carter. I'll have to make sure to develop a 6th, 7th, and 8th sense.
When we come back, we've got the highlights for you, for all you Phoenix fans out there.
And this year's basketball schedule has just been released. We've got the details coming up.
Welcome back to ELN Radio on WSOE 89.3 Elon, Burlington. Let's check out today's sports headlines.
Football was on the road this week playing up at the University of New Hampshire. The Phoenix struggled to put up points in the rain on Saturday as the Wildcats came out on top 37-14. Elon's freshman quarterback Daniel Thompson was responsible for the first touchdown on a 7-yard pass to Tariq McCrary. The Phoenix dropped to 2-3 after the game. The Phoenix continued their road trip this Saturday at Richmond, Virginia. Some soccer games from over the weekend were postponed to midweek due to the inclement weather. The women's team was on the road at Division II Francis Marion last night, while the men's team got back on the field at home this afternoon against CAA foe Northeastern, who they defeated with a 2-1 final score. Women's volleyball is in action this week as well. They're playing the College of Charleston tomorrow night in Alumni Gym. And in national sports news, the MLB playoffs are underway. The National League wildcard game takes place tonight as the Chicago Cubs take on the Pittsburgh Pirates. It's been nearly 70 years since the Cubs won a pennant, and for any film fans out there, the movie Back to the Future predicted a Cubs World Series win in 2015. To keep up with all your sports scores, stats, and highlights, follow at ELN Sports on Twitter. I'll tell you what, Avik, I'm really, really excited because I am from Chicago, and so, 70 years has been a long time coming.
Are you nervous? Because there's only one game after you played 160-some to determine the rest of your season now.
Not at all. Joe Madden, Chris Bryan, and Kyle Schwarber have my full confidence, and I believe in them to the full extent.
I believe it, too. I think that, if the Cubs get an early start and they get ahead early, it's going to be really hard with that, with those pitchers to try to come back.
Exactly.
Elon released the men's basketball schedule earlier today. The team's home opener will be held November 19th at 7 p.m. against Belmont Abbey College. The season opener will be held at the University of Charlotte on November 13th. The Phoenix will be hitting the road to take on several top-notch opponents, including Michigan, Syracuse, and Duke. Play in the Colonial Athletic Association will be held in Alumni Gym on New Year's Eve against the Northeastern Huskies.
While the full women's basketball schedule has yet to be announced, Elon already has the team's CAA schedule available to the public. The Phoenix will travel to Wilmington to take on the UNCW Seahawks January 3rd. Their conference home opener will be on January 8th against Hofstra.
That's all for today's ELN Radio. I'm Avik Bhargave.
And I'm Jackson Dunn. Remember to keep up with us on social media by following us on Twitter at ELN Radio and liking us on Facebook.
Have a great week, Elon.